Welcome back to Book Smart Life Dumb. It's episode 22. Happy July 17th, everybody. And it is a beautiful, nice and clear day out here in Northeast Ohio on this auspicious Friday. He said with so much sarcasm because holy moly, these wildfires coming out from Ontario are spilling down into the U.S. like freaking crazy. I actually called off of work today because it's just so bad, and my throat is in a existential state of just feeling kind of scratchy. I've got tea basically just on an unlimited supply, running on a kettle on my stovetop with some honey and all that good jazz, just trying to keep like my talking voice intact, because I feel like once this stuff clears up, or maybe even like, you know, just as it persists, it's just going to keep going, and my voice is just going to be completely and totally gone. I just went out and came back real quick after running a quick errand, and I mean, like, the haze is very strong. The sun is tinted orange. All the shadows on the ground, you can see the how just like orange it is, like this amber color. It's kind of like how like in TV shows, anytime that like the characters travel to like Mexico, they just have like the quote unquote Mexico filter on where everything's just like yellow outside. It's basically that. But yeah, so this week there have been just a massive amount of wildfires spilling out and growing in Canada, in Ontario, and the air quality, the AQI as it is on your phones and weather checking sources, I don't know, your weather sources of a choice, the air quality index has been shooting up, at least in the Cleveland area, all the way up and maxing out at the 500 scale. As of recording, it's down to 200, but looking at the map and looking at the wind like projections and everything, we're just gonna be right back up to 500. It's like 250, 270 every time I check it today. But it's just, it's bad. It's bad out there. And not for nothing, it's also warming up again throughout the week. It's supposed to rain, I saw, but every time I have checked that it is going to rain, it just gets pushed to a different day. Like the weather is not doing a great job at predicting. I'm noticing not being a great predictive service. Just looking at it right now. Yeah, 211 is where I'm at. So I'm in the pink. I'm in the pink zone, but it definitely was the dark like maroon. It goes from like the color scale goes from as follows. So green is good, yellow is something's happening, red is hey, if you have like asthma or something, maybe chill out today. Then it goes to purple, and then it just goes to like deep dark like red maroon color, just like this like if you look at the map, it just looks like you're covered in an evil cloud. It's insane. It's insane. I don't know. And I don't even know how to deal with it. At work, we got things called air scrubbers, because while I was at work yesterday, I mean, the smell was potent inside the building. The building I work in is a big open basically one giant open room. And if I stood in one corner and looked out towards the opposite corner, I could see like a little bit of haze in the fluorescent lights on the ceiling. So I wasn't thrilled to be at work yesterday. And I was like, I need to just not be there today as well. So that's where I'm kind of at with it. But in other news across the world, we are looking at the final matches of the World Cup. So the final four, as it were France, Spain, England, and Argentina playing for third place, which is going to be tomorrow, Saturday at 5 p.m. Eastern time. It's going to be France versus England, which honestly, I'll probably be watching all the matches. Well, I say all the matches, but both matches. So tomorrow we got France against England at 5 p.m. Eastern. And then on Sunday, we have the World Cup final for first and second place in the World Cup, Spain against Argentina. And you know what? I saw some other interesting news kind of related to footballing and football clubs and whatnot. A little bit of a backtrack. I probably have mentioned it on other episodes, but Mina and we've been watching Ted Lasso a lot. It's a show that I wanted to show her after we finished one of the seasons of Mandalorian. I was like, this is fun and all, but I want to show you this. And she fell in love with it. So we're almost done with season 3. And then season 4 actually comes out early August. And that'll be running 1 episode a week until mid-October, I believe. And so I saw out there, though, I forgot to try and grab an article about this. I saw out there that the character Dani Rojas is an actual footballer. The actor Cristo Fernandez actually now plays for I believe a team in, let me see if I can't find it. I'm looking at his Wikipedia page now, and actually, wow, he's got some very solid credits on here. An actor that I definitely haven't had on my radar, but like every time I see him, I'm like, oh, yeah, that's what's his head. Oh, that's football is life. But he plays for the El Paso Locomotive, which is in the USL Championship, being the United Soccer League in the United States. So he plays for a team down in Texas, soon to be resident, your host of this podcast. Not El Paso. El Paso's way down there. El Paso, if I'm remembering correctly, borders Mexico. I've been there before. And if I were to look at a map, you're darn tootin', I'm very much correct in that. Yes, El Paso is a town in which, now that I'm looking at a physical map, is genuinely a city where half of it is in Mexico and the other half is in the United States, which makes sense for a border town, right? Because if you go through a border, right, you go through border checkpoints, and you see it a lot in movies, in most movies, where it's like, you're going through the border between Mexico and the U.S., and it's just empty and barren. It's just like, it's kind of like what we were talking about earlier, where it's got like the Mexico filter on it, where it's like, it's just a desert and a long road with a bunch of cars in line and just a bunch of border patrol officers. But I find that anytime I've gone through a border, whether it be Mexico, actually, no, I've never gone through a Mexican border, but through like Canadian borders, for instance, very different. I mean, you have a lot of Canadian borders that go across like bridges across the Great Lakes, but then you have a lot of these border towns where around this stuff, there are shops and, like everything that you would expect a town to have. And then you go through the border and it's still the town. And it makes sense because if you were to go through and then now all of a sudden there's nothing, makes no sense. That would be like such a jarring experience. Be like, I'm in another country now and there's fucking nothing here. But to go back, I saw that. I saw that Cristo Fernandez is actually on a team, and it's so funny because he has the same long hair, all that stuff. He just like, it just looks like Dani Rojas. It looks like a cameo of like the character at like a real game, kind of like how like Will Ferrell would go out and like be like dressed up as what was it? He was like one of the Staples Center guards at a basketball game. He was messing around. But no, the guy must have method acted his way into actually playing a sport. So look at him go. Look at him go. And actually, I'll even walk that back just because in my like brief reading on the Wikipedia page, it looks like he actually played for a number of years before blessing our eyes and our hearts on the film screen, because he had been playing in youth teams in Central America starting at the age of 15 and continued to play until he had a knee injury in 2014 and pursued acting actually as a second career. And he returned this year, 2026, to play for the El Paso Locomotive. So look at that. Huh. Looks like he trained with the Chicago Fire. What is this team? Chicago Fire 2. Whatever happened to Chicago Fire 1? And then Oh, it's a reserve. Okay, Chicago Fire 2. What is this? Oh my God, it's like minor league baseball, but for soccer. Hold on. Okay, so the Chicago Fire 2 is a reserve side of the Major League Soccer club Chicago Fire. So if you are placed in the reserves as a player for the Chicago Fire, you just get put in the sequel. You get put into the second one. Okay, that's cool. If Major League Baseball did that, I don't think I would give a shit about minor league baseball. Like, if the Akron Rubber Ducks were just called the Cleveland Guardians 2, I don't think I would care. I don't think I would care as much as I do about minor league baseball, dude. Oh my gosh, like the Tampa Bay Rays #2 instead of the Stone Crabs, as they're called. Man, what the heck? Huh, okay, there's a lot to dig in here. As there's always a lot to dig into when it comes to hanging out on Book Smart Life Dumb, because you could be book smart, but you never know if you're just life dumb and need to do a little bit more reading. And I hope to God that does not somehow accidentally become the tagline for this show. You're dumb in life, go read some books. I might wear that. I would wear that on a shirt, unironically. I always fear that like someone will hear about me having a podcast called Book Smart Life Dumb, and then will wonder if this is like a book club, or seek it out thinking it's a book club, wanting to join one. And then it's just the ramblings of a guy in his 30s. Just, hey, here's everything that happened in my week, and here's what I thought about it, and here's what I want to talk about, and here's how I want to connect with you, dear listener. And then they're just sitting there with like Catcher in the Rye. And they're like, but I wanted to know what we were reading this week. I don't think I could hold myself to a weekly book club as hard as I can hold myself to Book Smart Life Dumb. I mean, even Show feels harder for me to hang on to, but it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work sometimes. Although Show is a bit easier, I would say, because there's a little bit less editing involved. Like, I don't really bring as much to the table for Show that I do for this, right? Because here I have like my hour of like pre-production where I sit down, I open up articles, I make sure there isn't like breaking news, and if there is breaking news, I need to read up on it, and things of that nature. But I don't know, because at Show you just sit down and it's just like anywhere between 3 and 6 goofballs talking about roleplay instead. Sometimes I wonder if we should just lean into roleplay and just talk roleplay, because there's always so much going on too. And that's such that audience is large. I don't think it's large enough to make Show stand on its own like 2 feet. And by the audience, I mean not just people who listen to Show, but I just mean people who are interested in like roleplay as entertainment. But yeah, like so much happens every week, not even just in our little bubble, but in all of the bubbles, right? Whether it's like amazing storylines, whether it's stuff going on between different servers and the people who inhabit them, servers shutting down, servers opening up, servers taking on huge updates like we just hit on Onyx, and I don't know, man. Very interesting stuff. If I'm being completely honest, things I just never would have considered if I really sat down and thought about it, which maybe I should have. I think there's a lot of things in life that you can just throw and go, but I think just as many of those things, if you were to sit down and actually think about it, plan it out, it could be 15 times better. I think Show's one of them. But the ever-present problem I have of just never having enough time to do all the things I want to do in life, and that kind of stuff happens. Oh well. Too bad, so sad. Do not pass go, and do not collect $200. And with that, I think that's just going to have to be me this week. I'm sorry for 2 short episodes back to back like that. I think I would feel better about it if this was like a daily podcast, but it's a weekly podcast. And it's not for lack of anything that I want to talk about. It's just I'm just trying to save my throat between this and then streaming and the smoke and all of that. It's bad. It's bad out there, man. Tell you what. Oh, also, I am just completely and totally fallen in love with Euros. Not like European people, but I mean like the food, like the Greek food. Like, as some people call it, a gyro, because that's how it's spelled. There's just something about just the simplicity behind it, but the flavor and all. I don't know. I might have another one today. I might. But that's gonna do it for me. My voice is cracking, so that's a telltale sign that I need to wrap this up. Okay, well, I hope you had a fantastic week. I hope you have a fantastic week ahead of you. If you are up in the northeast of the United States, please, if you start to not feel so hot, if you feel like you might need it, maybe wear one of those nicer masks that we all had over COVID, something like that. If you absolutely do not have to, maybe, stay indoors, do that, and all that good jazz. And I'll see you guys next week for episode 23. Bye-bye.